day to you. These bits are leftovers from the last box, so I've decided I want to make a couple more boxes, but I want to cut splines in the mitres in the corners with different coloured woods. So these leftovers, I thought I'd make a couple of boxes. This one is Zebrano with a strip of Paducah going down the middle, and this is two African rosewood bits with a bit of purple harp in the middle. And this thing I built yesterday, this well over engineered beast that weighs quite heavy, is the spline cutter. Let's see if it works. Due to me being stupid enough to leave the timber out in my workshop where there's no heating on all the time, and then taking it into the house, it's got a nice bow in it. So I'm going to run it across the surface planer or the jointer, depending on which country you come from, and see if I can get it out, and also to see what is left after I've taken it through. Who knows? Let me give it a go and see what happens. Last one. Wow. Well, I think because the grain on this Zebrano is all over the place, I think what it is where I've glued both of them together. I may have glued one where the grain's going one way but the other, but it changes halfway down. So, but it's not too rough. I think it's something we can sand out. But Zebrano is a bit of a mare for the grain, but that's what makes it so nice, is that the grain is really nice, but it goes all over the place. But that's that flat bit, and then I'm going to put the two bits through the thicknesser and see what we've got left. This is my version of a Moxon vise. Just some threaded bar, and these were difficult to get hold of. I tried to get the wheels that go on a Moxon vise, but unfortunately the only place I could really get them with a thread in it is America. The idea is that you can temporarily clamp it to your worktop. These clamps are in the way at the moment, but it doesn't matter because I'm just working on the top, and then I'll put it back again. But it's mostly working for end grain, but you can actually fix it through there into your worktop and get rid of the clamps, and then you've got a massive clamp. It really does hold it really well. I'll show you that. All I'm going to do here, because this is going to be the inside of the box, it's going to be easier for me to sand this now down to about 120, because there's quite a lot of lumps, and I've just realised I've actually got a groove going all the way down, which means I've hit something with a blade and a thicknesser, so I'm going to have to change those, I think. But I'll just take the rough edges off and sand down to about 120, 240, and then carry on from there. I'm cutting this so the grain runs the same all the way around the box, so the grain will follow the box all the way around. So I'll try and do that. It's still got a bend in it. I don't know how much of the bend I'm going to get out for cutting these in shorter pieces. I'm cutting it at 200mm sides, so the shorter the better. And then once I've glued the ply base onto the bottom, I'm hoping that will square everything up. And but really I won't know until I've actually done it. So let's have a go. Right, I'm going to use this bit as a Soprano for the lid. It was an offcut from something else, and I've just joined it, so but you can't see the join anyway. And I'm going to cut it to the shape of the lid. Now, I'm going to thin it down a little bit because it's got a little bit of a cup in it. So we'll see how much we can take that out with that, but still being thick enough to fit the hinges to. So, let's see if we can square it up a bit. I've just noticed there's a bit missing out of there. If I put it through the thicknesser, I think it's shallow enough that it won't show on there. I'll probably thin it out with a thicknesser. To set up the cut depth of the spline, if you go to the highest point of where your saw is and then just bring it up until you're about maybe 5mm below or 1/8 of an inch away from the corner, and that should be it. As long as you don't go through, just give it a go. You've just got to remember to put the base to the side there, and don't start it until you're away, or else things could get very nasty. That's turned out all right. Now, because this bottom piece is 45mm, then this top piece is 40mm, so I'm going to have to readjust this to do the centre of the top one. I think the best way for me to mark out the spline and where I want it to be is mark off the fence to where you want it on the box. It's going to be in the most simple way. As normal, finish with Osmo Polyx clear matte. I like the matte colour, the sheen of it. Using non-scarring pads. I've done a video on using this method a few times, and it comes out really nice. So have a look at the keepsake box and you'll see how I do it. I'll do 2 coats and then buff it up in between with the non-scarring pads. That's 1 coat of Osmo, so it's really made this Soprano pop really well. And so I'll leave it to dry overnight. It takes about 24 hours to dry, 12-24 hours, not sure. And then I shall rub it down again using some non-abrasive pad just to rough it up, and then put the 2nd coat on. And then we can fit the hinges and the handle. The hinges I've gone for are these things here. They're called side rail hinges. Which might be a bit of a problem, because if you've seen some of my other videos, you see how my hands shake so much. So this is going to be interesting. You can get these off Tinterweber or anything. I mean, I've got these. The quality of the different makes vary. I've got these ones from a company called ProCraft. They're called Premium. I'll write it as ProCraft. And they're called Premium Solid Brass Side Rail Hinges, Pear, and they're colour cream. I was going to use these things, but I decided not to, because they are, I got them off Amazon, and they're thinner than a fag paper. So, but these come with, as a pair, come with chrome screws and everything. And then what I'm going to do is do a mock-up, because as you know, I'm only going to have one go at this. So I've got a bit of ply. I'm going to set my router table up because it's got a stop on it. I don't know how good you can see this because my hands are shaking very badly. But the center of the pivot of the hinge is split by this in half. So this is halfway through that pivot. I think that's how it's supposed to be. It's not quite like a normal door, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to do a little trial to see if it works. But this needs to go down a little bit more too, because I'm just a little bit, about half a mil raised up. Here comes the scary bit now. Make sure I put tape in the right place to remind me which is the front and back. And unless I'm that stupid, I put back and an arrow at the bottom. That's going to have black felt in it. Now then, holy sh**, that didn't go to plan. Why is that moved? Well, it's done now. That's the way it's gonna be, I'm afraid. Do I really want to have a look at this? It's not an excuse, but I've got the Triton router underneath there, and it's the one where you can use adjust the height of it from underneath, which is brilliant for a table. But this UJK table, it didn't have a hole in the right place, so when you adjust the height adjustment is underneath this rail. So every time I need to do it, I have to undo, mark. There's the hole that I've drilled, and then adjust it, height, and then bring it back. Of course, that then moves the fence. But that's the bit that I cucked up on. I forgot to move the fence into the right place. I even had that bit to check that it was in the right place. But obviously not. I didn't do it. Didn't concentrate. But, like I said, I'll show you even the cock-ups. And yes, I make them. Could have been so much worse. Considering what it could have been, there's not much. There's only about 1.5 mil, 2 mil. If you like the video, or I've entertained you in some kind of way, even the cock-ups, please give it a like. Or if you feel you want to see more cock-ups, please subscribe and hit that belly thing. Till the next video. Cheers.